While we love our deep dives here at BCR, every now and then we need to take a little break, need to step back and just scratch the surface of our curiosity. Need to, I don't know, to release an episode for our loyal, rabid listeners, even though we had a rough week at work and our hot water heater literally blew up, causing us to spend the last 72 hours dumping buckets of water into our toilet while waiting for a very nice Greek man to replace it, hypothetically. Anyways, this week we're raw dogging content and giving you a nicotine patch for the macabre. So, lock your doors, load your guns, pull the curtains, and set your Roomba to kill while we dive into the shallow end of the pool and deliver articles as audiobooks and present to you Don't Sleep, Volume 1 Active Serial Killers and Their Dumping Grounds. I didn't see you there. Something big is going on here.
From hunting ghosts to Bigfoot.
Paranormal, UFOs, true crime, and more.
We won't just be spouting articles.
I was researching for your entertainment.
The beginning of a new world.
The best guac you'll ever fucking eat.
True story.
It's basically like one day you walk outside and you see that the ants are playing with matches.
This is the Black Cat Report. See you on the other side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to, what is this, episode 62?
It is.
Goddamn. The Black Cat Report. My name is Gil, and joining me this week is Joey.
Hello.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Betsabe is playing the role of a missing person this week, but she will be back soon, hopefully, unless she gets stranded in Turkey next week. It's a long story. Point is, we're going to be diving in and just checking out some articles this week. So seriously, sit back and just enjoy some fresh, crazy, creepy content that I hope keeps you as awake as it has kept me awake. Not just researching, but actually, like, some of this shit's a little bit scary.
Yeah. If you want to know something really cool today, me and Gil are actually face to face. We are looking at each other.
I'm a little horrified.
Yeah, it's been, God, it has to have been like 40, 50 episodes since we've done it this way.
Literally every episode we've ever recorded in person, Joey's always sitting on my left. I'm always sitting on his right. We're never actually making eye contact.
It's a bit cool, bit scary though. I mean, because as we're about to go into this interesting deep dive, or not even a deep dive, just talk about some unresolved things.
I really hope BetterHelp reaches out to us after this, because I am going to need therapy. Anyways, first on our list is dedicated to the state we love the most, because frankly, they love us the most. The nation of Texas.
Yes, the huge nation of Texas.
Yes, as Lone Star Beer would say. And this one to me is absolutely fucking fascinating, just for the sheer fact that it exists and it's happening like right now. It is the Texas Killing Fields, aka the Callater Road Killings. This article is coming fresh from Wikipedia, even though I did check the sources. Frankly, y'all, just real quick, backtrack on that. Wikipedia used to be sus. It's like heavily cited now and actually well executed. It's an excellent source for internet articles. Look at it. Always check your sources, but it's good. Let's dive in. The Texas Killing Fields is a 25-acre patch of land in League City, Texas, situated a mile from Interstate Highway 45 and approximately 26 miles southeast of Houston. Since the early 1970s, dozens of bodies of murder victims have been found along the Interstate Highway 45 area, several in this patch. They were mainly the bodies of girls or young women. Furthermore, many additional young girls have disappeared from this area. These girls' bodies are still missing. It is believed that many of the murders are the work of multiple serial killers. Most of the victims were aged between 12 and 25. Some shared similar physical features, such as similar hairstyles. Wasn't able to find more information on that, but I'm assuming all their hair was purple or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
However, despite efforts from the League City, Texas police, along with the assistance of the FBI, very few of these murders have been solved, and those that have been solved were predicated on confessions given by prisoners or confessions given under the duress from police, which is a fancy way of saying the police were torturing them. The fields have been described as, quote, a perfect place for killing somebody and getting away with it, end quote. After visiting some of the sites of recovered bodies in League City, Ami Kanan Man, director of the film Texas Killing Fields, commented, "You could actually see the refineries that are in the area, south end of the League City. You could see the I-45, but if you yelled, no one would necessarily hear you. If you ran, there wouldn't necessarily be anywhere to go." End quote. A task force composed of local law enforcement officials and FBI agents called Operation HALT, Homicide/Abduction Liaison Team, has been formed to investigate the incidences. Now, Joey, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay.
And I want you to see what let me get it pulled up here. I want you to see the list of victims that have been found in this field. Keep in mind, some of these listed here are multiple people. Just going to keep scrolling.
Wow.
Just going to keep still scrolling. Still scrolling. This is insane.
That is a crap ton of people.
Like, I don't know how to. Y'all need to hit up this Wikipedia page, Texas Killing Fields, and like look at this. It's just case after case after case of bodies just being discovered. Sometimes, again, like I said, it's like multiple people being discovered at the same time. This is only a 25-acre patch of land. This is not like, 35 miles long, 45 miles long. This is one patch of land.
Small land comparatively, but huge amount of people on it.
Yeah, and like this shit stretches back into the 70s.
That's more than one person per acre that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah,
there's more than 25 people in here.
When
I
did the count, I want to say it was around like 36, which I'm just gonna say is probably not the entirety of the amount of bodies that exist out here.
I imagine there's also some John and Jane Does on that too that are not showing up.
Yeah, it's just you can literally just pick a case from the list. Let's see. Jessica Lee Kane, 17, was last seen at the Bennigan's restaurant near Baybrook Mall in Clear Lake, Texas, dining with friends around 1:30 a.m. She was reported missing on August 17th, 1997, when her father found her truck abandoned along Interstate 45. On March 18th, 2016, Jessica's remains were finally found in a field off of East Orem Road, next to a Hobby Airport. Suspected serial killer William Lewis Reese directed investigators to search the area where her remains were found. Reese was convicted of the murder of Smither, Cox, and Kane in June of 2022. This is like over and over again. There's multiple situations here where like it all gets tangled up between folks that are like self-confessed and then convicted serial killers, all just dumping bodies in this one fucking spot. And it's honestly, it's kind of hard to tell if it's like professional what was that what was that term from the Yoakum Kroll episode, that guy who was like a serial confessor? Was that what it was?
I think so. Yeah.
Who was just out here just confessing to everything. It's hard to tell if some of these folks are actually just like serial confessors and are just like, yeah, the body is it's over there, but like just reliably there is a patch of land, I-45 in Texas, where there's been roughly 36 plus bodies discovered in one goddamn area.
You know what this makes me think of too, just looking at it? Like, there's a TV show that was on, I think it was called Big Sky, and it had to do with them truckers working in the sex slave industry, I guess, the sex trafficking industry, and just stealing girls, and then I guess maybe if they don't make it, they get killed and thrown in this place. And maybe this could be a similar thing, especially if they're all girls, like,
Yeah.
girls or women, depending on what age they are, like being killed and thrown in this one spot. So maybe, and especially if it's along the line of a highway
Yeah.
that goes out and goes through, most of Texas, could be that this is maybe a spot that they dump people, and it's a well-known spot, especially if there's 36 people.
That's fucking insane, dude.
I wonder if they were all buried similar. Or I mean, we don't know this facts yet, but just wondering about like if they're all buried with similar things, with similar how they were killed were similar.
Yeah.
Or obviously it seems like there's probably more than a few people that killed these people.
Yeah, it's either one very, very, very prolific serial killer, and there has been folks that have been found or suspected that live in the area where they live like 1 mile away, and they've been convicted of murder, and friends and family around them have said like, yeah, they totally brag about doing other shit, and they've been like called in, but not enough evidence was there, and this and that and the other, There's been cases like that, and then there's folks that are like, yeah, the body's totally over here, but they're wrong, and it's actually way the fuck down the road, but they find another body. And since it all kind of matches a similar I guess like an MO, right? It's like, is the victim between 13 and 27 years old or whatever? And it's like, yes. And it's like, yep, her body's totally over there. And they're just like, God damn it, there's a body over here. And it's like, well, there's 6 more, so many. And like, to be honest too, like, some of these victims, it's like, this is going back to like 1970.
Yep.
Right. And so we're looking at 53 years later. Right.
Yeah.
And bodies are still being found. Like those are bones. Those are brittle bones being discovered out in, frankly, the desert.
Yep.
This just is wild. I feel like this. I wanted to start this off here, not just because shout out Texas, but also because like I feel like it's so often ignored that like a lot of times serial killers literally do have killing fields.
Yeah.
Like they have a particular place or particular location, whether it's like buried and put underneath their house, right? or it's a barn, or it's a spot out in the woods, or it's a park, but they have locations where they just keep dumping bodies over and over again. Yeah, where they're comfortable. And there's just this strange little middle ground where it's just body after body after body is being dumped, and you can drive by it today. Next one. Now,
maybe you'll be the one dumped. Just don't drive by it at night.
Next one on our list, also sourced from Wikipedia, although like honestly, Wikipedia just had the best breakdown. I checked out a bunch of articles. This was just the best worded. Is the West Mesa Bone Collector, aka West Mesa Murders. I also like to call it the Bone Collector. The Bone Collector. All right. So, the West Mesa Murders are the killings of 11 women whose remains were found buried in 2009 in the desert on the West Mesa of Albuquerque, New Mexico, United States. Several suspects have been named, but none were arrested or charged. While the killings were initially believed to be the work of a serial killer, the involvement of a sex trafficking ring has been suspected. It's not surprising. An anonymous tip to authorities at APD and FBI linked the murders to a suspect from Central America. This is relevant later in the story. Police have also suspected the involvement of a sex trafficking ring operating through neighboring Texas that targets prostitutes during events throughout the Southwest, Southern, and Western United States, especially regularly scheduled events such as the New Mexico State Fair in this case, to take advantage of reliably heavier traffic. This small fragment of a human trafficking ring involves numerous population centers, including Las Vegas, El Paso, and Killeen, Texas, along with Denver. Between 2001 and 2005, 11 women were buried by an unknown assailant in an Arroyo bank on Albuquerque's West Mesa, an underdeveloped area within city limits. Satellite imagery taken between 2003 and 2005 shows tire marks and patches of disturbed soil in the area where the remains were recovered, which is just fucking insane that they like had.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they had an archive of satellite imagery, and they're like, oop, tire tracks.
Looks different.
You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I can't believe. I think about that now, and I'm like, damn, that they could literally find anything. If you just dug up your garden, they could probably see like, oh, they dug up their garden like in between 2 years.
Tomatoes did better last year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but by 2006, development had encroached on the area. So, like, literally, houses were getting developed right up to that point, right?
Yeah.
And soon after, the site was disturbed, buried, and platted for residential development. Well, due to the 2008 housing bubble collapse, development on the west side halted before housing could be built at the burial site.
Mm.
So, and just to interrupt here from reading this also lends the question of how many houses may have been buried
yeah.
on top or built on top of bodies that were hidden out there.
Yeah.
Because like it was encroaching and stopped,
Yeah.
but we assume that it somehow magically stopped at the line.
Yeah, no,
and
it
it's like,
didn't.
I don't think that happened. But after neighbors complained of flooding at the platted site due to the burial of the natural arreo, don't know what the hell that means, the development built a retaining wall to channel stormwater to a retention pond built in the approximate area of the burial site, inadvertently exposing bones to the surface. So basically, they
kind of works, I guess.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna wrap this over here, and that's a body. Yep, that's a body.
That's another one.
Yep, shit, that's a body. This
Damn.
is not again
Yeah,
like they could have just been like pushing dirt, pushing sand and stuff like that, and not noticing bones out there.
Yeah, they could not. Yeah.
Like this is just straight up because they needed to like literally build a retention wall out there. But
damn, yeah, they definitely missed a bunch probably.
And all this kind of kicks off, or the discovery phase, I guess, of this, right? Happened on February 2nd, 2009. A woman was walking a dog, found a human bone on the West Mesa, and reported it to police. Classic story. It's happened 40 million times, right? It's always the dog walkers that find bodies, which
they're
makes
the only ones looking.
Yeah. Suspicious. If you ask me.
Can you imagine though that you see just like the dog just like grab something, this person's just sitting on their phone, just got their headphones in, just walking down the street with the dog. Dog grabs a bone, they're not looking like, oh cool, he's got a stick, something, just on their phone as they're walking
with a femur down the road.
I wonder how long it took them to realize. Yeah. I think that's not a stick. I think that's a bone.
This just honestly, this just solidifies my belief that like I suspect the only murderers that exist are dog people. I think that it's the perfect cover, frankly, because it's just like, I was just walking my dog in my neighborhood and then I found this body over here. And then they're like, oh my God, of course this area has been contaminated with like your DNA and evidence. Yeah. You were walking Fido. Fido's like, and like trying to rat him out because dogs are fucking snitches. Yes, we all know that.
Well,
we all know dogs literally work for the police people. They're fucking snitches.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dog's trying to rat him out. Cop's too damn dumb to figure it out, and the person gets away with murder for years. Why do I keep finding bodies? Like,
oh no, yeah. Oh, I keep walking every time I go out. I find a body every week.
I've walked out a million times, never found a body.
That's true.
And I was looking.
Yeah. Maybe that was the thing. You were looking.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah, you gotta not look. You gotta like trip over it, and then just be like, "Oh, that was a rock."
Excuse me, sir, and just keep walking.
Excuse me, sir, keep walking, and then you turn around. Wait a second.
Yeah, but that also works out because like cats aren't snitches, so if they knew there was a body there, they wouldn't tell you.
They do know there's a body there.
Yeah, they just wouldn't fucking
they're
tell
just
you.
Like
they just keep
they side eye it.
Yeah,
they're like, nah.
Yeah, they're like, does he got treats? No, he ain't got tweets. I keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going. We won't. We won't even talk about this.
So yeah. As a result of this woman finding the body, right? Subsequent police investigation, yada yada, authorities discovered the remains of 11 women and girls and a fetus buried in the area. Yeah, real sweet story here. They were between 15 and 32 years of age. Most were Hispanic, and most were involved with drugs and sex work. This is tale as old as time, right?
The less dead, as they say.
Yes.
Which is very sad.
Mm-hmm. Next one hits close to home. Hits close to my heart. Now, Our next culprit might have been caught less than a month ago after roaming free for over 10 years, but he's worth including slowly based on how the feds may have tracked him down, which I find fascinating, and the fact that I've never seen my own name referenced so many times. Don't run, Joey, the doors are already locked.
It's fine. I resigned when I came in here.
I signed my fate.
Yeah. When I started doing this podcast with you, I figured I was going to be murdered.
Just writing your will.
Yeah. Oh, my name's Joey.
But the Long Island serial killer, aka the Craigslist Ripper, aka the Gilgo Beach serial killings. Quoting now from Wikipedia, the Gilgo Beach serial killings were a series of killings between 1996 and 2011, in which the remains of 11 people were found in Gilgo Beach, located on the south shore of Long Island, New York, United States. Most of the known victims were sex workers who advertised on Craigslist. The perpetrator in the case is known as the Long Island serial killer. Brackets, Lisk. Not quite as catchy as like BTK or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like LISK, and it's like, you're trying too hard. Anyways, the victims' remains were found over a period of months in 2010 and 2011 after the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert resulted in police search of the area along the Ocean Parkway near the remote beach towns of Gilgo and Oak Beach in Suffolk County. The remains of 4 victims, designated the Gilgo 4, were found within a quarter mile of each other near Gilgo Beach on December 2010. 6 more sets of remains were found in March and April 2011 in Suffolk and Nassau counties. Police believe the latter sets of remains predate the 4 bodies found in December 2010. Gilbert's remains. I'm sorry, it's really weird reading my name so many damn times in these articles.
So you're not the killer. You're the one that's murdered.
Remains were found a year after the remains of the Gilgo 4 were discovered. Her cause of death remains contested, with police claiming accidental drowning, while an independent autopsy determined possible strangulation. They'll never find out. In July 2023, this literally just happened. Like there's about to be, which I will quote here in a little bit, there's about to be an ABC expose releasing like any day now, 2020 episode entirely dedicated to this shit right here.
We beat you 2020. Suck it.
Fuck you. But yeah, so in July of 2023, Rex Heuerman, no clue how to say that, a resident of Massapequa Park in Long Island, said that wrong too, was arrested in Midtown Manhattan and charged in the murders of 3 of the Gilgo 4 victims, Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, and Amber Costello. He was also named as the prime suspect in the murder of the 4th of the Gilgo 4, Maureen Bernard Barnes. Now, as I said, he may have just been caught, and here's how it happened via the ABC article titled "The Long Island Serial Killer: How Cell Phones and a Pizza Box Led to a Suspect in 3 Cases" by Samantha Wanderer and Christina Corbin. I'm not able to read tonight. You were staring me straight into my straight in the eyes,
staring you
into my fucking soul, and you were just reading me like a book. I wish I could read this as well as you're reading me. All right, so Sarah Carnes was sitting in her Times Square hotel room when she said she received a cell phone call from a blocked phone number. She said the voice on the other line, an unknown male caller who was calm and very matter-of-fact, revealed personal details about her friend, Maureen Bernard Barnes, who vanished days earlier in July 2007 while working as an escort in New York City. Quote, "I just saw her." Carnes recalls the man saying, quote, "She's at a whorehouse in Queens," end quote. Exactly 16 years after the chilling phone call, Carne said she believes the mystery voice was that of Rex Heuerman, a married father of 2 and New York architect who is charged in the murders of 3 other women. He is the prime suspect in the death of 25-year-old Bernard Barnes, according to investigators. Hauerman has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Quote, "That was him," Carne said of the caller in an exclusive 2020 interview following Hauerman's arrest on July 13th. Again, this is less than a month ago at the time of us recording.
That's crazy.
And this has been unsolved for so damn long, right? Well, Hauerman, 59, is charged in the killings of Melissa Bartholomew, 24, Megan Waterman, 22, Amberlynn Costello, 27, who were working as escorts on Craigslist at the time they disappeared. The badly decomposed remains of those women, as well as those of Bernard Barnes, were found in 2010 near Gilgo Beach on New York's Long Island in what police described as the work of a serial killer. Carnes, who reported the phone call to police at the time, said she made the connection after hearing Hauerman's voice in a now viral interview on YouTube about his work as an architect.
Oof.
All right, so we have the Rex Heuermann, Manhattan architect, comes across as utterly boring in 2022 interview. Is this a clue? Right. So I'm going to assume at this point that folks have copied and pasted this potential serial killer's totally unrelated to serial killing interview a million times on YouTube. Let's go. Boop.
Tell us, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been in New York.
Okay. Rex Heuermann. I'm an architect. I'm an architectural consultant. I'm a troubleshooter. Born and raised on Long Island.
Okay.
Been working in Manhattan since 1987. Patience.
That's funny. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah. Patience, and I don't like to use the word tolerance, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
And it's not just with the city, it's also with the client.
I don't know. That dude's voice is just very specific to me.
Mm-hmm. I would be able to know it too if I heard it.
Yeah, it could be like 12 years later and it would be a phone call. I'm like, yep, that's him. He's like, well, you see what we're doing when we go into the city. It's like he has a very specific kind of like lower lisp, right? Like with his voice. And frankly, he looks like a douchebag. I'm just going to be honest. Even if he's not a serial killer, he looks like a douchebag. But throwing that out there. Hate me for saying it. That's fine. I have a fond talent. I have an incredible talent for helping us lose fans. But it's a weekly pleasure. Just kidding. We love you. Please don't go. But so that is the suspect that was just brought up in the piece right there, right?
Yeah.
Now, moving on. So Carnes, like back to the story, she was saying that she remembered or that she called the police, reported this very creepy phone call of somebody who obviously knew what the fuck was going on with her missing friend, and then eventually came across his voice in a YouTube video and was like, that's the motherfucker. Like, that is the dude right there, right? And she goes on to say, quote, I remember rewinding it and playing it over and over again, Carnes said. The investigation into the Long Island serial killer focused on cell phone use from the beginning. According to investigators, the victims, known as the Gilgo Four, posted advertisements on Craigslist and then used their own cell phones to connect with clients. The police claim the killer, meanwhile, used separate burner phones to contact each victim, and in doing so, gave them their first clue. Quote, we had cell site hits in 2 areas in the Massapequa Park, also in Midtown Manhattan, Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison told ABC News. The authorities claim the killer also used the cell phone of one of his victims, Melissa Bartholomew, to make a series of taunting phone calls to her family in Buffalo, New York, in the summer of 2009. Those calls allegedly pinged from towers near New York's Penn Station and other areas of Manhattan. So this is the exact same area that this dude lives in, right?
Yeah.
Quote, I'm watching your sister rot, end quote, the killer said to Bartholomew's younger sister, according to multiple sources with knowledge of the phone calls. It wasn't until 2021 that investigators, including the FBI, said they were able to use advanced phone analytics to hone in on an area of Massapequa Park, some 17 miles from Gilgo Beach, where they believe the killer likely lived. Quote, there was a little bit of what we called a box where our potential suspects was making these phone calls to our sex workers, Harrison said. The next breakthrough in the case came in the form of an old clue that police revisited in March of 2022. A witness reported seeing a dark green Chevy Avalanche parked outside the home of Amber Lynn Costello in Babylon, New York, the day before she disappeared in September 2010. The witness also told police that Costello met with a client that same day, someone the witness described as a white male, approximately 6'4" to 6'6" in height, in his mid-40s, with dark, bushy hair and a big, oval-style 1970s type eyeglasses, according to court documents in the case. Last year, investigators were able to determine that Howerman, who lived in Massapequa Park and fit that physical description, owned a Chevy Avalanche in 2010. Quote, we were able to seize that Chevy Avalanche pursuant to a search warrant, and we're certainly going to analyze that, end quote. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said at a press conference that afternoon after Howerman's arrest. It literally took me like 5 takes to go through Attorney Ray Tierney.
Yes. It would suck, though, if you owned that Chevy Avalanche later, because, like, he didn't own it, right? Because he previously owned that vehicle. He didn't own the vehicle. They just had records of him owning the vehicle at this time through the DMV. So they found out that he owned it at this time. Yeah. So imagine if you owned that car at this point, or maybe it was at a
and you're
junkyard,
also a tall man.
You're also a tall man.
You're just Ben Kissel driving around New York, minding your own damn business.
Yeah, and then they're just like, hey, did you kill somebody? You're just like, maybe. Where was I? What year was this?
Wait, what year? Hold on. I'm not admitting to anything I didn't do.
Yes. But imagine, like, and they just pretty much took your car. Yes. I mean, granted, it's for a
Chevy
good
Avalanche.
thing. It's for a good thing, but I mean, there's not.
I mean, we don't want Chevy Avalanches on the road. Nobody does.
No. And you also don't want, killers.
This is helping the cards.
Yeah.
I mean, I released a series of those silicone like wrist bracelets that's like N Chevy Avalanche, you know, like Avalanche the Avalanche was ECA, our phrase. Yeah. I'm just glad another one's off the road.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
I feel like the campaign's picking up.
Maybe you set this guy up. Nah, he murdered those people. He's probably going to go to jail.
Once authorities had established Howerman as a suspect, they conducted surveillance on his daily life, issuing 300 subpoenas and search warrants to collect potential evidence. In January 2023, an undercover team watched from security cameras as Howerman allegedly tossed a pizza box into a trash can outside of his Midtown Manhattan office. The team retrieved the box, which contained a partial piece of pizza crust that was later tested for DNA.
Well, right now, for all you people that don't eat pizza crust, this is why you eat your pizza crust.
Yeah, or you get a boyfriend, girlfriend, or just partner that will eat your pizza
or
crust.
Dog.
This is how you complete.
Dogs can eat pizza crust too. Animal.
Interesting. So you're into dogs now?
I like dogs and cats and all animals.
Do you like to go for walks, Joey?
I go for runs without my animals because I don't have any animals at the moment.
What are you running from?
Life. Not killing people for sure. Not yet.
Stay tuned. This is a developing story. Anyway, so it proved to be a 99.96% match to hair found on one of the victims at Gilgo Beach, according to authorities. Pretty damn good match, especially from hair, which is notorious for not delivering the best matches in the world.
I wonder if that's the 0.14. percentage, the extra percentage that wasn't matched.
Potentially. Well,
Hmm.
Michael Brown, Howerman's attorney, scoffed at reporters who asked about the alleged physical evidence following Howerman's court appearance on July 14th in Riverhead, New York. Quote, "I didn't see any evidence, did you?" Brown said, claiming the government's case against his client is, quote, "very circumstantial," end quote. The hunt for the killer began with the disappearance of Shannon Gilbert, a 23-year-old escort from Jersey City, New Jersey, who disappeared on May 1st, 2010, from Oak Beach, a gated community on the south shore of Long Island. The police search to find Gilbert led to the discovery of 4 sets of human remains dumped in thick bramble along Ocean Parkway at Gilgo Beach, 2010. Now, ending here, article goes on. I already repeated that part with the Wikipedia section, right? And this is giving a little bit of backstory.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, heavy serial killer vibes. Just my opinion. I'm not a judge, but yeah, I don't know. I gotta fall back here. I gotta fall back here on the guy's voice. I could totally see, years later hearing that guy's voice, especially from such a traumatic moment where somebody calls, they're acting incredibly disrespectful. They're saying some fucked up shit on the phone, and like you're worried about your friend, and they're saying some heavy shit like that to you on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
You would remember that guy's voice.
Yep.
And he has a very specific lisp, where it's just like it just comes in at the end. It's like New York. And it's just like a very specific kind of like
He
vibe to
Yeah.
his tone.
But it's not too like New Long Islandy, which is, I know that sounds weird to say,
No,
but like
it does.
not in what you generally hear in Long Island. He's got like a semi kind of, you can hear it come out a little bit, but it's enough to where you're like, huh, you would notice that kind of voice.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
I'm going with the victim's friend here, who's like, I watched that 96 times and I'm like fucking positive
What was
it was
his
him.
quote? What was his quote he said about clients?
Yeah. Shit, what was it? He said I'm not very what was it? I'm not very compassionate or some shit.
It had something to say about like you have to tell your clients or something. So
I'm not very
weird.
patient with them.
Yeah, it's like you can't show patience with these people or these clients, and it was just very.
I don't like to use the word compassion.
Yeah,
and it was just like
there's a little like when you go back and listen to it, everybody listening, it's one of those things you're just like you listen back after you're just like,
sus.
That's very weird to say.
Sus.
Very like unemotional about it. Yeah, very sus about it, and. I don't know if the his lawyer Mike Brown said, basically like where's the evidence, and right now the evidence is probably being built.
99.96%
DNA matches
to hair follicles.
That's the evidence, and right now they probably figured it out with they're finding the evidence right now. That's the point. Is like now they have this kind of match of this person where they're like, hey, we know who this is. Now we can build the case that it's him.
Yeah.
Now we can go back. We can find the phones. We can use the voice recognition or like use the witnesses to give evidence that he was there at these points. And obviously the Chevy Avalanche being at that point,
they can find those areas. Road. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I mean, it's like, I don't know. I know these cases are always just like, so damn close around this kind of shit. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about the intonation of somebody's voice, a matching hair follicle, and a now 10, 12, 13-year-old like discovery of a body on a beach or multiple bodies on the beach, which happened years earlier. Were dumped there years earlier. But again, hey. These are active serial killers. This motherfucker's still active, right? Like
he's probably out on bail right now.
Yeah.
So he probably is still out there. So
yeah. Something to think about. Next one here. Honestly, kind of one of my favorites. I don't know why, just because I think it's just too fucking weird. It's also kind of like genius.
Are you saying this is your favorite serial killer?
I think it might be.
Favorite
I
serial
literally
killer.
just watched Joey's Adam's apple go up and down as he like he just gulped. Yes, I think this might be one of my favorite serial killers. Although I discovered one in North Carolina. No, it wasn't in a mirror, Joey.
I'm not looking in a mirror right now, and I see
I'll
one.
tell you the
Maybe.
name. I'll tell you the name off air because I'm very excited to share him with folks in the future, and I don't want to ruin that. But like, North Carolina has a pretty cool serial killer. I'm just saying, like, and the not like he's a cool person, but their name is cool.
Okay.
Serial killers can have cool names. I'm
I
just
guess
saying,
so.
like the
I mean,
media is trying to do
Yeah,
that. You know,
like the Night Stalker is
Jack
a really
the
cool
Ripper,
name.
you know, like
Jack the Ripper is a cool
"Nah,
name.
the Boston Strangler.
Yeah.
You know, there's like
They
the
can have,
Bone
they
Collector.
can, the Bone Collector's
You
cool.
know?
Yeah.
Like, these are cool names.
They have some cool names. They're
Some
just
cool
not
names.
cool people.
Oh no, they're fucking shitbags.
Yeah, they're terrible
But like,
people.
yeah, no, seriously, like
We do not condone, or we do condone.
but I condone cool naming conventions.
Cool name, yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I literally am a professional marketer and like got real recognize real. Like you see a cool name, and you're like, that's a cool name.
Yeah, we don't like serial killers here at Black.
No,
Cow.
fuck
we're just
no.
clearing that up. So all of you know, we do
Yeah.
not like serial
So
killers.
this next one here, Hitler was no, I'm just fucking with you.
You know,
Joey's
can you
face.
classify people as? Can you classify Hitler as a serial killer? I would say more genocidal maniac.
That's the thing here. So like that's the fine line between genocide and serial killer is like honestly, if you want to talk about active serial killers, every living president, serial killer, right? Or mass murderer.
Yeah,
they
I guess they say different.
They operated an infrastructure.
Probably every leader ever to exist. Yes.
Well, all the ones that were actively engaged in perpetuating warfare were actively killing. I mean,
probably
shit,
every
like
leader to exist.
I mean, yeah, well, like Obama's hit list. Does anybody remember
strikes.
that? Like
Drone
the
strikes.
drone strike
Yep.
hit list where they were like, "Hey, this is kind of fucked up," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever." Like
drone strike.
yeah, and like Bush Jr. being like, "You went after my daddy," and Dick
Yeah.
Cheney being in the back pulling the fucking puppet strings, and like it goes on and on and on. All right, you want to get into NAFTA? Let's get into NAFTA real quick. All right,
Let's do that after.
Viva las Zapatistas. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying. All right, now back to my favorite. Right, my favorite in terms of names. The vending machine killer. That was a huge buildup, and I hope other folks appreciate this as much as I do. The vending machine killer is just a fucking I don't know.
VMK?
Yeah. VMK. Quoting now from serialkillershop.com. Japanese infatuation with vending machines is widely acknowledged. There are 5 million vending machines across the country, making an average of 1 vending machine per every 23 people. Between April and November 1985 in Hiroshima, 12 people were killed as a result of paraquat poisoning, and a further 35 were seriously injured. When authorities looked into the circumstances surrounding these poisonings, they found that most of the victims had one thing in common. They'd recently consumed the drink Oramin C. Yeah, I don't know. Around the same time, the company behind Oramin C had launched a marketing campaign offering free bottles of the drink from vending machines whenever someone made a purchase. So if you caught that there, basically you buy, to the best of my ability, I understand, you buy a drink from the machine, any fucking drink from the machine, and you would also get a bottle of Oramin C, would also like fall out at the same time, right? So that was their marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, where it's just like, hey, we're
so.
totally fucking new. You never heard of us before? Just going to drop
drink.
a free one there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, in Japanese culture, which I feel like this phrasing here is a little bit weird. I feel like this would happen anyways. In Japanese culture, sometimes people would place the Oramin C drink on top of the vending machine for someone else to take if they didn't want it themselves. I feel like people were just basically like, I don't want this free drink, but, whatever. We're at a subway, we're at a train station, we're bus stop, whatever the fuck. It's just like, they gave me this free drink here, just fucking take it. That's normal, right? If you're getting a bunch of free shit, everybody's getting free shit. So they're placing. So anytime you're buying something out of a vending machine, there's this brand new drink that's coming out with it. all over the fucking city. Again, like there's a vending machine per every 23 people, right?
Yeah.
So there's shit ton of vending machines everywhere. Free drinks sitting on top of all these vending machines. This could go wrong.
I mean, I'm just thinking that it's just the middle of the city is just piled up with these drinks where people are just
RMNC.
tossing them into the middle of the city, like in the friggin' subways. They're just overflowing with the RMNC, and they're like, "Huh, our ad campaign might not have worked."
Not sure if this is helping or hurting.
Yeah.
It's just like
Now everybody knows us.
poor dolphins in the ocean getting them stuck in their throat. Police soon pieced things together and found that someone had been lacing these Orman C drinks with Parquat and placing them back on top of the vending machines. So this is picked up as a quick culture, right?
Yeah.
Or as like a quick cultural reaction to a prevalence of a bunch of drinks that not everybody fucking wanted. People were leaving out in public for free. It became noticeable. Like, again, this is only over a few months.
Yeah.
So like marketing campaign, everybody's just like, I don't really want that. I'm not thirsty. I don't like it, whatever. And it's like, I'll set it here for somebody else. And within a few months,
Yeah.
fucking serial killer swooped in and was like, I got a plan, right? So because of these free drinks sitting all across the city, going back to the article here, it was almost impossible for the police to track down the person responsible, since it was difficult to narrow down where a person had originally picked up the drink.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Most of the vending machines responsible, that at the end of the day they found out, were in quiet back streets with no CCTV around.
Yep.
The person who carried out these poisonings was never found.
Not yet.
Yeah.
He really screwed up the ad campaign.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Yeah, as a
I know
marketer,
who it
I'm
was.
pissed.
It was the other rival company. It was freaking Coke. Coke did it. Coke C Pepsi, like
Oh my God.
that. Literally the most genius. Oh, they're gonna give away free drinks. Screw that. I'm just gonna poison them. And now Orman C.
Can't even pronounce it.
Orman C.
Don't even know what the
soda
fuck it
is
is.
now going to be synonymous with being poisoned.
Serial killing.
Yeah, with being poisoned. So who's going to drink that after that?
Yeah.
To me, like, poor company. They
No,
just kind of got messed up.
That would, that's going to drop. Those stock prices are dropping faster than Corona Lights during COVID.
Yeah.
I just had to get us tagged with that for this episode.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Why always getting us tagged with that.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
It makes it look special.
It does. We're
It's
special.
like, ooh, controversial.
Yeah.
No, but I do think that this might be one of the most unique. Like, this was a very unique as a marketer. This is a very unique marketing stunt.
Oh, for sure.
Not as a serial killer. Very unique serial killer stunt. It's like,
well, did these people die too?
Yeah, 12 people died.
Oh, 12 people died. Okay.
And another 35 people got seriously fucked up from it.
That's a hefty head count.
This all took place between
a couple months.
April and November.
Yeah.
This is just a handful of months.
Yeah, that's honestly, if you're a serial killer, like, he hasn't been found yet. I mean, he probably will be, but
I don't know. This is 1985.
Oh, it's 85 that this happened?
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely went out of business.
Yeah, no, they're fucked.
Yeah, I've never heard of Orman C.
No.
But it's a very unique way to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, that's super unique.
First off, great name as a serial killer, the vending machine killer.
Yeah,
dope name.
Yep.
And like that's a marketing response to a marketing solution, and I gotta appreciate the ingenuity here. I'm not knocking the people who died. That's really fucked up. But I'm just saying, how many serial killers just picked up on a marketing wave where it's just like, wait a second, this TikTok dance is going viral.
Yeah.
You know how to add more bones to my collection? Yeah. And they're just like, I'm going to get everybody to go out to the field where I love to put my bones, and I'm going to have them do the bone dance. And then it just accidentally causes, quote unquote, accidentally causes a bunch of people to die in one spot. And he's like, Mwahaha! Like,
the TikTok killer.
Yeah, the TikTok killer.
Yeah.
But like, they're making them do it themselves.
Yeah. No, that's genius. I wonder though, if there's caps now on the plastic bottles. I wonder if they're using glass. They were probably using glass bottles with caps that they could re-put back on there, because I know nowadays nobody is going to open those if they see them, the little plastic things.
True.
Genius invention by whoever. Plastic sucks. Plastic really screws over the environment. But the genius invention behind someone that put the refresh, basically you lose all your carbonation. The plastic and the seal on it to make sure that nobody has opened this since it's been in the factory, so it hasn't been poisoned. And the same thing happened with Tylenol. With the Tylenol poisonings in Chicago, is that they created the cap that made it so it doesn't it's not as easily to be able to get into.
I'm going to go, you 100% right here. Although I've definitely had more than one instance in my life where I've it doesn't happen a lot, maybe 5-6 times, where I've gone to open up a Mountain Dew bottle to put some Parquat in it. And but I've gone to open up like a Parquat. God damn it. I've gone to open up a bottle.
Freudian slip over there.
And I've gone to open up a bottle with those little plastic rings that if you take off and flip inside out, the cats fucking love to play with those little plastic things, right?
Yeah.
I've gone to open those up and the whole thing comes off and the seal doesn't break. I've had that happen a few times. And you could take with like a knife or something like that and like pop it off. I'm just saying they're not perfect. Although there is those Japanese drinks and I'm not sure if it was the same.
But you're going to hear the carbonation.
Yeah.
You always hear it.
But heavy catch on this. This is a brand new drink. It's popping up all around the city.
True.
If the drink was flat, who the fuck would even notice if it was their first time drinking it? They don't know if it's supposed to be flat. Yeah. It's brand new.
Still imagine it's a glass bottle though, since it's in the 80s.
But those glass bottles back in the day, and they still have them. Like if you go to like Asian markets around the U.S. or I'm assuming like most markets or whatever in Japan, they look like the small, I guess like the classic like beer bottle kind of like shape, but they're small. They have a marble that you actually press down into it, and the marble gets caught in this certain area, and you drink basically through the marble or like over the marble in it. That's how it's like sealed closed. They're kind of cool. But I don't know. I'm just saying the liquid went in at some point, and then got sealed up. I'm assuming somebody savvy enough to do all this in such a short period of time. Probably, I don't know.
They did the research though, because they weren't in front of CCTVs.
I honestly think this was the marketing team that did this.
Which one?
The marketing team for this company. Like this seems too perfectly timed and too quick to be like, look at this cultural reaction. I'm going to take advantage of it with this poison that's readily available just for this brief period of time to put in there. And it's hard to trace. Like, it's just like, I don't know. This is a marketer's mind. Just saying, real, recognized, real. And it was 5 years before I was born. Wasn't me.
Some people learn from the best, I guess. If this podcast doesn't release, I never made it out of this studio.
I plead the fifth. Future Joey's lawyer. I plead the fifth.
He's going to get Michael Brown as his lawyer. There is no actual evidence besides all the
96.7% sure that it's him on camera holding up his social security card, his birth certificate, his driver's license, his third grade report card that his mother never signed because he hid it from her. I saw no evidence.
C-. Yeah, we don't say that.
Moving on from this incrimination, going to somebody who we are most definitely going to be doing a deep dive into at some point, but he fits the bill here for this week's episode, and that is Pedro Lopez, Monster of the Andes. Quoting now from an article on crack.com. Don't judge me. It's a good summary based off the other articles that I read, and I didn't have time to write this week because hypothetically my hot water heater was blowing up just below our recording studio. Yeah, it was fun.
Did you just kill a bunch of Andes?
I do love Andes mints. All right, moving on. Quote, we know damn well who the so-called Monster of the Andes was, who was killing little girls all over Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. We know because Pedro Lopez freely admitted to it in 1980 after he was caught in an attempted kidnapping. In for a penny, in for a pound, right? He actually confessed to so many murders, 110, that police initially didn't believe him. So he led them to the bodies of 53 victims. Jesus fucking Christ.
Damn.
He later confessed to 240 more, but he had apparently misplaced those ones because he was only convicted of the 110 they could prove.
Imagine how long his trial was.
Jesus fucking Christ. We will find out. This might be a situation where like we want to dig into a trial, honestly.
I would like to dig into his
This is
death
insane.
count, his body count, and dig into him. You
Yeah.
know, not literally get dug a hole by him and be murdered, but
Yeah, not be dug into by him,
Yeah,
but dig
yeah,
into.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yes.
Well, Lopez was tried in Ecuador and given the maximum sentence allowed by the country, a whopping 16 years. He was even given time off for good behavior and released after serving just 14 in a psychiatric hospital in the pinky promise that he'd pay $50 bail and follow the rules. Currently, nobody knows where he is. He could be behind you right now. In fact, if anyone has seen him since 1998, they ain't telling. Oh, and in 2002, Colombian police identified a new murder that they're pretty sure was Lopez's work.
So literally got released from jail for not murdering people because he couldn't murder people.
Yeah, basically. Apparently, this is as far as I was able to like dig up. Again, we will be doing a deep dive into him because this has to be a fucking world record, right?
Yeah,
For like a single
250
individual.
People?
No.
That's ridiculous.
300.
300 people.
He killed 100. He had confessed to 110, and then it goes on to say, and 240 more.
Oh my God, it's 360 people.
50. 40 and 10 is 50.
Oh, sorry. Well,
it's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
It's been under the
Math
threat of an
is
active
not my
serial
friend.
killer.
Yeah.
Anyways, but no, this fucking insane.
Yeah, that's huge numbers. And to find that many places to find the time to go to pick out people to kill. I guess he was killing people in the Andes Mountains, all right? So
Yeah.
not the Ments, or the people named
Andes
Andy.
Mint Mountains.
He was finding these people in the mountains, maybe people who were native to the land, or
no clue.
I guess we don't know the people there. But if he was killing a lot of natives, then yeah, he could probably have huge death counts because they're not a lot of them. Just like we saw with the Peru incident, a lot of them aren't really watched over or even looked after. So he could have just been running amok in these areas and then just going home and been like, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah. Look, I've seen every Rambo. All right, I've seen every Rambo movie.
Seen the Expendables too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. The Expandables and the Expendables.
Oh, well, excuse me. Sorry.
No, but I've seen every Rambo movie, right? I've kept count.
Yes.
65. He's only killed 65 people. Rambo has only killed 65 people. Don't quote me on that. But
well, they drew first blood.
Like people that go to war and are on the front lines don't kill 350 people.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah, very rarely do people kill that many people.
Like you people kill like 30.
Yeah.
If it's like really intense warfare, like that is absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah. So even Chris Kyle, who is like one of the best snipers in U.S. history, only killed 160 people confirmed,
which is still fucking
and
insane.
He was paid to do this.
Yeah,
like he was literally go find these people.
Serial killer.
He was a paid. He was paid.
He was killing everybody the same way.
He was.
He had a type.
Everybody the same way. Yeah, I guess technically, if you look at it, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that.
But you just don't want to piss off a sniper.
Nobody should piss off snipers. And he was also killed too by one of the people he was trying to help. So that was really sad. And he had a movie about him, which Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
But think about it. This guy had to find people.
Yeah.
He had to do the research on these people. Had to stay away from being killed.
Yeah.
Chris Kyle was literally like, here's your people, go kill them.
Yeah.
He was helped to do that.
Yeah.
And he only killed 160.
Literally flown in.
Yeah, flown in to do this. And he was only 160 confirmed kills. And this guy is like 250.
Yeah. 300.
350. Numbers are hard. I'm just going to keep doing like you on the listener count. But like, it's crazy to think about that this guy had this much time.
Yeah.
To do this. It must have just been he made it his job, you know?
Homie started in the 70s.
True.
You know?
He could not be alive anymore, though. Who knows? Because if he started in the 70s, he could be in his
60s, 70s yeah.
right now and could be dead. But who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he's still out there.
I have no idea. But, like, literally, like, you know, that's just fucking insane. I'm sorry.
amount.
Like, the math is insane. The numbers are insane. Honestly, even if we just stopped at the other 240 more, right? Which is just a lot.
I would say even if we stopped at the 110.
That's what I'm
saying.
That's what I'm saying. He was convicted on 110.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane. That's insane. You know, we ain't gotta add another like 240 to it.
Any serial killer that you have heard about, watched a movie about, watched a documentary,
they're like 5.
Likely has 5 to 20.
Oh shit, 20 is like up there.
Yeah, and 20's heavy. Like what was it?
Bundy was like
20
was something. Yeah,
20. Yeah, like few.
A lot of them
5s.
are like 3.
Yeah, 3 to 5. And it was just done the same way. Like Richard Ramirez was 17, I feel like.
Gilgo Beach, 4.
4, yeah. And these guys are caught.
Yeah.
You know, well, 50 years later, but they get caught,
That's fucking nuts, man.
This guy did get caught, and then they just gave him a slap on the wrist, 16 years, which is, he's like, goodbye, $50.
I'll be good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, hope y'all have enjoyed this this week's, I guess, like laid back episode. If you didn't, well, congrats on making it to the end and not enjoying it. You made it through another work day. I don't really know what to tell you. I hope you enjoy
next week for another script for a different kind of episode.
Yeah. We'll actually be scripting out next week in a proper manner.
Yeah. We won't be looking each other in the face though, which is going to be kind of sad because it's kind of nice. We've had like a good little chat, and Gil's getting a little creeped out now. He just I'm also was earlier too because
Joey's currently running to Mexico. No. Yes. But thank you all so much for tuning in for another week. And as a very, very, very sincere note, all jokes aside, please, 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 please. We know you only made it this far if you're a diehard. If you haven't given us a review on iTunes or on Spotify, it means the world to us. We read every review that comes in. And we're constantly hoping for more, and we're checking every other day for them. We don't have a bunch, but we know that we have a bunch of listeners that are listening every week. And hey, it would bring a smile to our face. That's all I can say. We can't pay you for it or anything like that, other than just keeping to produce content and
every
stuff like
review
that.
you get, I will take off a piece of clothing. There will be no pictures from it, but I will just take off a piece of clothing. So we got that to look forward to.
Yeah, just keep that in your mind. And if you don't want to see that, every review that you give, he'll add an article of clothing.
Yeah, either or.
Win. No, but seriously, if you could, right now during this long diatribe over here, like if you could just leave a review, it would mean the world to us. We do check that shit. And we love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all are the best. And we'll see you on the other side.
Thanks so much for listening to the Black Cat Report in episode 62. Don't Sleep, Volume 1, Active Serial Killers and Their Dumping Grounds. Please remember to like, review, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Also, for the most up-to-date information, follow us on Instagram or TikTok. And we'll see you on the other side.